This is the story of Rukhmabai, a woman who faced an impossible choice: prison or forced marriage. She was just 22 years old, had never met the man, yet the judge offered her two options: submit to her husband or face 6 months in prison. In a packed courtroom in colonial India, she chose prison. That single decision would go on to change Indian law forever. This is the true story of Rukhmabai, the woman who said no when the law, religion, and society all demanded obedience. In Bombay, 1885, Rukhmabai sat in court while a man she didn't recognize, Dadaji Bikaji, claimed legal ownership of her body. They had been married when she was 11. After her stepfather died, her mother remarried a progressive doctor. For the first time, Rukhmabai had a choice, and she chose education, becoming one of the most educated women in Bombay. By her early 20s, Rukhmabai was certain she would never submit to a marriage forced on her as a child. In 1884, her husband, Dadaji, filed a lawsuit demanding his conjugal rights, arguing the court should force her to live with him. Rukhmabai did the unheard of. She stood in court and rejected the marriage, stating, "I was a child. I never consented. This man is a stranger to me." The nation was shocked. Under the pen name A Hindu Lady, Rukhmabai wrote devastating letters to newspapers, exposing the hypocrisy of child marriage and calling it legalized child rape. After intense public debate, the verdict arrived in 1887. The judge ruled against Rukhmabai. Her order was brutal: go live with her husband or face 6 months in prison. The courtroom waited. Rukhmabai stood and said she would rather go to prison. She wasn't just defying her husband, she was defying the law itself. The political fallout from her choice was immense. The case became so controversial that the British government intervened, fearing political backlash, eventually convincing Dadaji to drop the case for months. Rukhmabai's case exposed a horrifying fact: the legal age of consent in India was a mere 10 years old, a revelation that shocked colonial officials. Her stand created the first crack in the system. In 1891, the Age of Consent Act was passed, raising the legal age to 12. While still horrifying, it was the first meaningful step toward reform, caused by Rukhmabai. Rukhmabai was not finished. Denied admission in India, she went to England to become a doctor, returning in 1895 as Dr. Rukhmabai, one of India's first female doctors. She spent decades treating women and children, offering care where there was none, and she never married, having had quite enough of marriage, thank you. The path from child marriage to choice, from silence to law, from obedience to agency, began with one woman saying no. The judge gave her two choices. She chose prison, and in doing so, she gave millions of girls permission to choose themselves.